Welcome to the Horses and Holy Moments podcast.
Ingela, you have a concept that you talk about in your teaching called the Logjam. And when I think of logs, you can have a river and you have lots of logs in it, and they can block the free flow of the water going down a river. Could you explain this related to horses?
I use this concept to illustrate something in my horsemanship classes where we really want the fullness of the love that we have for our horses to flow to them. Like a river, just like you described. Now, when we have logs that block the flow of love that comes from our hearts to our horses' hearts, then we end up with just a trickle of love, and that is all that the horse can feel. Now, what are those logs? Those logs are things like insecurity, fear, shame, value damage, frustration, anger, control, walls like self-protection, self-sufficiency, independence, and then also lies that we have about ourselves and the horse. Now, those things come from our wounds and the pain in our hearts, and they are really the opposite of love, peace, and joy, childlikeness, carefreeness, and gratefulness. The bigger our logjam is, the more we will act dominant or passive toward the horse. And then it is impossible for the horse to see us as lead, and therefore the horse doesn't trust us. It can't trust us, and it can't really follow us, at least not with an open heart. Logs also can cause our hearts to shut down. Depending on the type of walls we make to protect ourselves from pain. So in childhood, all of us get hurt, our hearts get hurt. It can be through actions of others or words or circumstances that happen. But we tend to make walls as a self-protection. It's a natural mechanism in a child, so the heart doesn't get more hurt. And some things we could barely survive otherwise. But now that we are adults, we're not meant to walk anymore in the ways of a child, right? We are meant to walk out our salvation with fear and trembling and circumspectly before the Lord and at peace with all men. So when we discover something where we lose our joy or our peace, we know that there is a log there that would be great to be removed. Now, when all of us who love horses, we of course want our horses to feel our love and to feel loved, right? Of course.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, so, and we don't want to have just a trickle of our love going to our horses. Now, sometimes we don't even realize that is happening, but just imagine one thing. Imagine you're at liberty with your horse, you're in a course, and everybody is watching. And your horse is the only horse that leaves. It won't stay with you. Everybody else manages that the horse stays with them, the horse loves to be there, and your horse runs off.
Yeah.
Well, how would you feel?
That would be hard.
Be hard, why?
Well, because if you want to look good, it would be hard. But yes, it shouldn't be, you know?
But absolutely, it would be hard because it would touch our rejection wound.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Mm-hmm. So now, maybe in that moment, when we start to feel not good enough, the love that we have for our horse is not flowing the same way as it did when everything was going well. This is like a little test we can do, Is this always that our love is flowing unconditional to our horse, or do we lose our joy? Do we lose our peace, and then the love stops flowing? And therefore, I use this concept of the logjam to explain actually the baggage that we have, that we picked up in our lives, that stops our hearts from fully loving.
That is so good.
And then we have the same actually on the horse's side.
Yes, I was going to ask you about the horse. What about the horse's side?
Well, they also have baggage because they had interaction with humans that was not all positive from when they were born. So the horse also has lies about the human. It also has bad experiences, maybe things that were scary, maybe things the horse didn't understand. So there is actually some logs on the horse's side and on the human side. So there is baggage on both sides, which makes the relationship a little bit more complicated. But when we are working on the removal of our logs and our love flows to our horses with an open heart, the horse will be able to receive it and open his heart too. Plus, we can help him with his logs.
Wow, I love that. And that makes so much sense that we can help them once we find our own freedom from the log jams that jam up our love. That's amazing. And something we can always ask Jesus to help us with, to reveal where we're getting stuck or, what is the pain coming from.
Yes, absolutely. And, it's most days of our lives that we run into something.
Yeah.
These seem like small little things, and maybe we even have the tendency to overlook them or put them under a wall, or we already got used to it, especially with humans. But when we are building a true connection with a horse, this is a little different because we want everything to be perfect, right? We want the horse to see us, love us, run to us, stay with us. And then if the horse gets afraid of us or doesn't want to stay, usually this starts to touch something inside of our hearts.
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
Yes, we've all been there. So that's really great because it always then is an opportunity to just get a little more time talking to Jesus about how does he see us, and does our value depend if our horse stays with us or leaves us? Does our value depend on how good we are at horsemanship? Does our value depend on how our horse performs or how we perform? And the answer is always no.
Right.
Our value is based on his love for us.
Yes, and it's so unconditional, and we can just run to it always, every day, every minute. It's available if we'll just go to him.
Yes, exactly.
So thank you so much, Ingela, for sharing that little bit of information and to help us reach better heights with our horses and just get rid of the baggage that we often carry, that we don't need to carry as his children. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for listening to the Horses and Holy Moments podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode.